I greet you with the peace of our risen Lord. Yesterday, we spoke about mindsets, attitudes, and behavior. And I invited you to take some time to reflect on, what are my mindsets? What are my attitudes which influence how I relate with one another? Of course, to do such deep thinking and reflecting would require some silence. And although this time of silence is a great moment, but when life returns to normal, we still need to find silence to think and reflect deeply. Before I go further with this topic, I should like to read Psalm 132 from this little book called Psalms for Praying by Nancy Merrill. She rewrites the Psalms so that modern humanity can understand or take it to themselves in a deeper way. It is about silence, and it tells us quite a bit about the gift of silence. Enter into the silence, into the heart of truth. For herein lies the great mystery, where life is ever unfolding. Herein the divine plan is made known, the plan all are invited to serve. Listen for the music of the holy word and the resounding silence of the universe. May balance and harmony be your aim as you are drawn into the heart of love. Those who follow the way of love with calm and faithful intent know that all is working towards healing and wholeness. And may the healing power of love lift you from the limitations of fear and ignorance into the arms of freedom. May the peace of the Spirit bless you and lead you on life's journey. Be not afraid of silence, for wisdom's voice is heard there. As you follow the light, you become gentle and kind. You come to live in the light. Children enter the world radiating the Spirit. Learn from them of innocence and simplicity. Learn to cooperate with the unseen realms, to see beyond the veil. Wise are those who learn through silence. Learn then to listen well. For beyond the silence and stillness within, you will come to know a profound and dazzling silence. Herein lies the music of the spheres, the harmony of creation. Enter into the holy temple of your soul. Converse with the beloved in sweet communion. Blessings of the great silence be with you as you help to rebuild the world with a heart of love. And so we ask ourselves, how do we come to that deep stillness where silence truly reigns? And so when we think of our world today, we are bombarded with a cacophony of sounds. If it's not the rush hour traffic, then it's the blaring music in taxis. Then it is the impatient pushing of drivers wanting to get into this lane and to the other lane and taking terrible risks in doing so. It could be in the shopping mall where there are 5 different tunes battling to get center stage. And then people who talk so loudly that you wonder whether the person is outside or inside the mall. And then you have the babies screaming and crying and being restless. All of these sounds bombard us, and it's really terrible to experience. Never mind the silence and the noise that's going on in our minds as we flit from one thought to another. And so we don't know, how do we actually reach that silence? And I have to say it will come through a technique which I use, which is through breathing. But just to let you know that when I am in a state of this energetic, lightning-like energy, I affect people. If I'm so restless, then that affects other people and they become restless. I remember a very, very wonderful priest. Ah, was he creative. His heart was as big as he, very big. Anyway, he was one of these people who just poured out energy, creative energy. And I worked for him for a few years. And when I opened the door to my place of work, which was part of the parish house, I would know whether he was there. When the energy level that I felt as I entered the house was low, I sighed a sigh of relief, because when it is high, then I know that that day is going to be a very demanding and tiring day, because his energy is so much and his ideas are so great and it's just rolling out of him that it affects the people who listen and it just tires them. So it's very important then, excuse me, to focus on, how am I today? Am I part of this frenetic rush hour? Or can I become still? And there is a way to become still. And when we start breathing in this gentle way, we will find this deep breathing will fill our bodies with oxygen, will help us to be more energetic, because the oxygen then flows through our whole body. Our mind will be more clear. We'll be thinking more creatively. And so it is rather important that we focus on our breathing. So I'm asking you today, just this moment, don't change your breathing. Just focus on how you breathe. Just become aware of your breathing. Is your breath going as far as your throat? Is your breathing going maybe as far as your diaphragm? Is it maybe going as far as the abdominal cavity? And maybe, but likely not, it's going as deep as the pelvic area. Now, deep breathing is not always possible in the normal living of life. And so we tend to breathe in different levels. But what sometimes happens is when we do breathe, we breathe shallow. And many of us do. I mean, my favorite prayer or kind of prayer is what I call breath prayer. And I find in the course, even today, I was aware of it, that I'm only breathing up to here. And so one can yawn, one can feel tired, until again we take this deep breathing seriously. For when we do, it could happen that when we breathe deeply, we will touch the heart, the core of our feelings and emotions, the core where our God resides. And we may touch into feelings that we have suppressed because they are just too painful to look at. They're just too painful to experience again. And so, unfortunately, we use them as stones to cover up the freedom, the joy, the love, the greatness, the wonder that is within us. But because we don't want to look at it, we cover it up. And unfortunately, when we do that, this freedom cannot come out. This joy cannot really celebrate. This life and this wonder does not radiate through us. And so when we do deep breathing, it is good to remember that if we do touch into some painful areas in our life, we are not alone. Christ is with us, and he says to each one of us, "Peace, be still. I am with you. With you, I will walk through that pain, and with you, we will walk right through that pain and come to freedom and new life." So I would love to continue this talk, but I'll have to lock on again tomorrow because there's not enough time. Then I will share with you a technique that will surely help us to come to this deep breathing, where I enter into a deep silence, where we meet our beloved God, who wants to redeem us and free us. So I'm having to say right now, God bless and take care.